They may not be old enough to legally vote, but kids in Fairbanks and across the nation cast their ballots anyway. A national leader in civic education, Kids Voting USA gets students involved and ready to be politically educated, engaged citizens. After registering, kids can vote online, at home, or at local libraries. Political science student teacher George Peterson says he hopes that encouraging the youth to vote today will prepare them to stay involved with the election process as they become old enough to cast a national ballot later.
This year's election is pretty interesting in a lot of ways because of the candidates and because of the interesting events surrounding our Senate and our House races and some of the local races also. So kids are pretty involved.
I don't know. I've just been seeing a lot more kids in politics during this election, so I think I might get more into it this term.
Today, several schools across the interior were voting in regard to the 2008 general election. Of course, their votes don't count outside of the school walls, but they do get them prepared for the future when those votes do count. Although students may not completely understand everything about the political races, they're still anxious to be heard through their votes.
The booths have been up for a couple days, so as they walk by, they know something's happening. And this election has been, in the press for 18 months, and you hear kids talking about the candidates even out on the recess. And of course, with Sarah Palin in the picture, they're a little bit more interested, I think, and they're just excited about it.
Really, only about 12 of my students are of voting age, but I'd say 90% of my students are engaged and excited about this election.
Brian Powell says students participating in Kids Vote will learn how to be an educated and informed voter.
They get to see how it will be like in a few short years for them to go into a booth and vote. The teachers have set up lesson plans, and they talk about democracy and the importance of a vote and the importance of their individual vote in the big picture and how their individual vote can affect a large population of people.
Even students themselves understand the impact of the Kids Vote program.
Even though it seems like kid voting is kind of silly because it's not actually real, it encourages kids to get out there and vote, and then when they become adults and they become of voting age, they can really, look back on their experience and say, I voted and it mattered at my school and I was a part of something big. Even though, we're not voting for the real election, still looking back on it when we're older and saying, I voted in the, 2008 presidential election.
Amy Galloway says that her and her students feel privileged knowing that they were able to vote in this historical election.
They know that what they're doing, that they'll be able to tell their children, I voted in this historic election. And I have students who are actually out campaigning. I have students who are teaching younger students. And I see a greater sense of responsibility than I've ever seen.
High school senior Michaela Cameron has a word of advice about tomorrow's election.
Everybody get out there and vote. It's really important.
With our eye on elections, I'm Taylor Raymond with News 13.